almost mocking amazement at Jesus. How can he dare assume the role of a rabbi when he has not received the prescribed training? Right? So the question's on the table. How can Jesus teach like this and stand in the place of a rabbi? Rabbis, they get all their authority, from other rabbis and sitting under other rabbis. And it's kind of there's kind of a pecking order, right? So Jesus replies in verse 16, my teaching is not from me, but from the one who sent me. So Jesus is a mouthpiece of the one who sent him, God. Rabbis get their authority by being faithful to the teachers of the law who have gone before them. Jesus gets his authority by being faithful to the lawgiver, himself, who speaks directly through him, right? More directly than they ever dreamed. So my teaching is not from me, but from the one who sent me. So how can we know that Jesus speaks for God? How do we know that? That's a great question to answer, I think. How can the Jews of the day know that the claim to speak for God is true? How can we know whether Jesus' teaching is from God or from himself? If we're going to receive Jesus as God, we have to know whether he is God's true spokesman or not. You just do. How can we know? Jesus goes on in verse 17. Look at verse 17. If anyone wants to do God's will, he will know about my teaching, whether it is from God or whether I speak from my own authority, literally myself. So how does someone know if Jesus' teaching is of God? A person knows if one is willing to do that is God's will, what God wants. The condition of knowing is our will. It's actually right here in our heart. Now, a will or heart that wants what God wants. That's it. Now, I know it begins to sound complicated if you're not careful. So the way the heart is prepared to receive Jesus is by getting a certain kind of will or heart that wants what God wants. This is really crucial for understanding how we come to receive Christ. And I think we must understand how this happens.